Whoa, oath, buddy. Do watch out for these kangaroos. I love a kangaroo in the morning.
Join me on this journey through historic Goldtown hill end, just 3.5 hours from Sydney, then down to Turon River Reserve at the start of the Bridal Track for a multi-day camp. The gold rush history runs deep here, the perfect spot for a bit of panning, fishing, and escaping society. This is an adventure motorcycle channel to tell the story of my travels around the world on a Royal Enfield Himalayan 450.
Hill End, here we are. The Royal Hotel, I believe, is closed. But first, coffee. It is such a brilliant day today. Oh, this place is certainly historic. G'day, mate. Look at this house of the gargoyles, courthouse, beautiful old church, St. Paul's Presbyterian Church, Hill End. Is this Hill End Public School? Oh, it's really nice around here. It's just so quaint. It's really idyllic. Fun facts about Hill End. Gold was discovered here. At Hill End's height, it was 8,000 people that lived here in Hill End. It had 5 banks and 28 pubs. Can you believe it? 28 pubs servicing Hill End, and now there's 100 or 200 people that live here. Just old artists are here, pretty much. That's it. Interesting old town, Hill End. In the area was one of the largest, or the largest gold nugget ever found. Maybe one of, I don't know. But it was as tall as a man, it was massive. It was broken up into parts and sold over time. But there is a replica that exists in one of the museums nearby. There must be so much gold in here still that's, not collected. The only reason they stopped collecting it is because it's just not efficient enough to make it worthwhile. But it doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean they mined it all out. And a lot of time has passed as well. Corrosion has happened. Hill End's a beautiful place. I'd highly encourage anyone to come here. If you just want to do some hiking or experience some gold panning, it's a really great place to stay. It was wet when I was here last, and I looked down here and it was just steep and muddy. And I was like, man, I don't trust myself. I didn't trust my bike. Yeah, that was a heavy son of a bitch bike. So this bike is a lot lighter. I have more confidence. I've been able to pick it up in several situations where I definitely wouldn't have been able to pick up my last bike. When you drop a bike and have to really put energy into picking it up, you're spent by the time you get back on it. And it actually diminishes your ability to handle difficult situations. So it's very similar to snowboarding. With snowboarding, you get very tired very quickly if you slam all the time. When you're first beginning and you take a slam, every slam's not that bad. You recover from it, but by the end of the day, you're absolutely wasted. Whereas if you are just running lines, never slamming, you've got way more energy. Your energy is just not depleted by the slam. Those slams, man. Fortunately, when you drop your motorbike, it's rare to get hurt. I mean, I'm sure it's very common actually to get hurt, but in my experience, having dropped motorbikes, I'd say I'd be maybe around the 60 mark. I wouldn't say it's been over 100. I have not once hurt myself dropping a motorbike. I just love the thought as well that there could be gold anywhere in the sides of these mountains. I mean, I'm pretty sure the old timers would have found it because they were ruthlessly looking. It's such a rugged terrain here in Hill End. Adventurous me could go up there. Should I give it a crack? It's all about picking your lines, right? It's definitely good to get practice like this in. Okay, this is definitely getting a bit more challenging. Good thing about this bike is you can always flat-foot it. Oh, it's the beauty of having a bike like a Royal Enfield is you can just take a little dirt path. So nice. It's nice that there's just a campsite here. You just need a four-wheel drive to get up here. It's a good location. Obviously no water source. Oi! I can get out of here without dropping my bike. After talking so much about dropping my bike, going down should be the easy part. I'll walk carefully through this stuff. Okay, that was the hectic part. That's the really good thing about the Royal Enfield is it's relatively easy to duck walk. It's not too tall. I'm 5'11". It just feels like it's the perfect size for me. I can get off and on by just lifting my leg over. I don't need to stand on the foot peg. Even if you're on the shorter side, you can change the setting of the seat. I think there's 3 settings. I haven't played around with it yet. I just haven't seen a need to change it yet. It's just the ideal middle ground bike. I mean, maybe I've just got more confidence now, but when I was first learning how to ride on a bigger bike, I was so afraid all the time. Like, I had fear. You know, fear that I would drop it, fear that I would crash it, fear that I would get hit. Every time I got home, I'd be like, oh, thank God, that's over. I mean, I did fall in love with it and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it also scared the shit out of me, motorcycling. And it doesn't anymore. I don't have the same fear. And it's funny that, like, fear of motorcycling. I've driven cars all my life. I've been a road cyclist. I've been a mountain biker. Like, I have all of the essential skills and knowledge to ride a motorbike, yet when I learned to ride it, it was a real learning curve. You know, learning how to turn a big heavy bike, learning how to pick it up, learning how to ride on loose gravel versus on a road, learning how to steer, and how to also be efficient with the bike as well. You can be very light on your bike and use your body weight to maneuver it, which makes it just a lot easier to ride. You don't have to be manipulating the heavy bike all the time with your arms, and it doesn't have to be such a chore. It can be a delight. As long as you kind of flow with the bike, you know, like you're really just standing on top of it, being like water. And then I think it's just about taking it easy and having a good time. Like, motorcycling shouldn't be stressful, it should be enjoyable. Hello, buddy! So cool. I fucking love a kangaroo in the morning. Oh, this is great. I can't think of anything better to be doing, you know, on a Thursday morning.
Hello and welcome. I've arrived at my destination. It's a reserve near Hilland. It's on the Bridal Track, so it's before the first river crossing. Over there is the first river crossing. You have to cross to get into the Bridal Track, where there's a lot more campsites as well. There's toilets, there's really great facilities. The Bridal Track has recently been graded as well, so it's really comfortable and easy to ride. I did a river crossing earlier in this trip and the water was too high, so it almost took my bike. So now I'm a little bit cautious around these river crossings, but I've got no need to go over there. I found an incredible campsite. So this is the campsite I found. It's right on the water and it's crystal clear. Might put the rod in, might get the pan out. Just gonna be here for the next few days camping. Let's get set up. So the key is actually to figure out where the tarp is going to go and where the tent is going to go. That's the first step. That's the tarp. Here is the tent. These soft panniers are really easy to get off. They're super easy. I'll figure out the tarp first. Not a lot of people use the tarp while camping. For me, it's an essential item because it's so useful in so many different scenarios. The most simple is that it's raining and you just need to stay dry. Tarp. It also puts a lot less pressure on the tent being very waterproof because you've got a tarp protecting the tent. You also protect the tent from sunlight so your things inside don't get too hot. So this tarp I think is 3 meters by 4 meters and it folds up really tightly. It's like a military type tarp that I bought on Amazon. But yeah, it's perfect. It's got these holes in each corner so it's very easy to secure to things. You can do A-frame type setups. You can do lean-tos. Lean-tos is probably the easiest and most common way that I use it. And it's just really tying it up to 2 trees and then having either pegs or another 2 trees to tie to. The key to a comfortable one is making it as high as possible so you're not having to always duck under it, but whatever is available to you at the time. This tarp sets the vibe of the place. It's really the location for where you put firewood, it's where you put the tent, it's
is very important. Obviously it's extra luggage to carry. If you've already got a tent, then you could question, why do I also need this? But I think it's a luxury worth carrying. Even if you were somewhere and you couldn't bring your bike under cover, you could use it to cover the bike. It's very useful for a motorcyclist. Alright, so I've got the basic tarp structure up. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be my campsite. Okay, now that that's up, and that gives me a good amount of shade protection during the day. Yeah, I use an undermat, which came from the same company as the tent. I'm using Nature Hike at the moment. Tent's pretty good, it's a 2-man tent. Does the job. So, okay, as I'm placing the base, this is really where the tent is going to be. So I want to make sure that it's actually covered by rain, so it's not part getting wet under the tarp. So the tarp really dictates the placement. Yeah, I like this tent. I actually bought this tent, aside from being like a good product, well recommended, all of those things, because it's got 100% mesh inside. And I like that because I like to be able to be in my tent, but feel like I'm outside. Okay, so time for the pegs. I've been going through tent pegs a lot, just hammering them too hard, bending them. These ones I seem to snap the ends off if I hammer them too hard. My last tent before this was from Kmart for 60 bucks, and it was a great tent. I love that tent. The only reason I got rid of it is because it started having holes in the bottom, and every time it rained, the holes would leak. So the tent is erect. I might as well do the fly since it's gonna get hot today. The tent set up, officially done. Now I can start moving in. So yeah, camp's pretty much set up now. Got everything kind of tidied up, packed away mostly. Just got to get out of my motorcycle gear now and get some firewood and get the fire going. So I'm gonna show you how I make fire. The way I make a fire is the Aboriginal style. It's quite wise actually, the style of fire. So basically you have 2 big bits of wood. What you're burning is in the middle, and the big bits keep the heat inside. It also means if it rains you can cover them over with just bark or something like that. But this will keep the heat in, and you can kind of move these out and in depending on if you want a big fire or just to keep the flame, keep the heat in the coals. So I've got all of this stuff kindling. Now I've got a functional fire, so staying down here 3 days, which should be good enough to get my camp on and then go back to Sydney and go back to society. See, there's one fleck of gold. I don't know if you can see that. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just about to head up to Himalayan, gonna get a coffee, gonna try explore some side tracks and have a chat. So it is almost 9 a.m. I'm just going to head up to Himalayan to grab a coffee, maybe some breakfast. It's too early for this. For life to exist, there must be change. The human species wouldn't exist if there wasn't change. It's part of our nature that we have change. The key is to stop thinking about it, framing it as a negative thing, because it's not. It's not negative at all. Change is a good thing, even if it feels bad. Changing in a relationship is not necessarily a terrible thing. Tension is necessary for existence. If you swap the word tension for suffering, suffering is necessary for growth. Suffering makes you a better person. Suffering strengthens you and makes you wiser and more resilient and more skilled. The process of change in a person is actually the tension between suffering and pleasure. It's good to think about this and think about what is happiness. People think happiness is pleasure and they think anti-happiness is suffering. This is an incorrect way of thinking. They should find happiness in suffering equally in pleasure. Pleasure and suffering are things that go up and down, they're volatile, but your happiness should be internal. That's really the definition of happiness. It's internal, it's self-driven. So if you did want to camp up at Hill End, there's just these campsites. I assume there's some kind of booking method. I think you have to book online or something and then you book out a spot. I'm not sure how much it costs. I don't see any reason why you'd want to do this, to be honest. It's just not something I like doing. I love to be away from people when I camp. Back at the camp now, I have some new wood and I might just chill out. Oh, you mother...
This is when I realized I'd fucked up. The fish I'd caught was a carp, which is an invasive species in New South Wales rivers. What I didn't realize is that you couldn't kill it by stabbing it through the brain, which is how I was used to killing snapper in New Zealand, the only other fish I've ever caught. So what ended up happening is a brutal massacre where I had to behead it. A poor thing had to suffer me more than I had to suffer it. So I made my first kill, but honestly I think it's one of those fish that I'm not supposed to eat just because it's not good eating. I just love that you can come down, there's heaps of free camping options. There's obviously hip camp. I heard somebody call it hype camp, but I think it's hip camp. Hip camp is like Airbnb for camping and it's amazing all across Australia. I'm not sure if it exists in other countries, but basically you can book a place, search by your requirements. Do you need a toilet? Do you need potable water? Do you want a fireplace? Do you have an animal? And you just search there by your criteria, and just like Airbnb, it shows you different places. And these are usually farmers that rent out the back paddock that's got a bit of water on it. You know, they just rent it out, set it up, have a designated fire pit, and you rent it for $30 or $50 per night. So usually if I'm struggling to find camp spots, then I will go there. I really recommend looking for these free camping spots. It's again free as well, and usually there's a local town you can pop into to get supplies or use the toilet. They're just public land and they've got camp spots on them. So these are littered all across Australia. They've got fire pits. Yeah, many of them they look like they're service. Like this place is so neat and tidy. It's like people come down and clean it and take care of it. With adventure motorcycling, like you have everything, but you also don't have everything. It's minimalist. It's like you've got to pack only what you really need. And there's enough space to bring luxuries. Like I would bring more on a motorcycle than I would do on a hike. For example, I'd bring a camping chair on a motorcycle, but on a hike, probably not. You're a minimalist, but you've got luxuries. So it's enough to be super comfortable when you're camping, but also not to bring the whole kitchen sink. This kind of forces you to be minimalistic in your packing. And I really like that. I like living with just what I need. I've got a lot of stuff, like I bring a gold pan, a fishing rod, a little chair,
cooking set up. I've got all the pots to kind of start like a meal if I wanted to. The tent, tarp, a 3-litre water system, like a bladder, and then I attach a filter to that and just use river water in that with the filter. This is what I love about being a motorcycle camper. 3.5 hours away from Sydney. I couldn't feel further away. It's just so peaceful and remote. There's not a single person around. This is the mighty Turon River, a gold-bearing river on the start of the Bridal Track. It's before the first river crossing. It's called the Bridal Track because you had to lead your horse by its bridle because it was so narrow. So this is at the very beginning of it. And then up the steep hill is Hill End, which used to be a 8,000 person strong gold mining town. Sofala down the road, 25 to 30,000, you know, like massive population for such a small town, and it's so small now and quaint. But this is really the forgotten town, and like, come here and spend money. The pub's closed. I would highly encourage everyone to visit Hill End, come on the Bridal Track, but not if you're a there's a lot of they're probably good people. Bridal Track, like, often is 4-wheel drive folks, and they will have like loud music and drink late at night, and I get it because I've also done that. I try to escape those types of people. Oath. This is so beautiful. Alright, well, I'm ready to leave this campsite and make my way back to Sydney. Motorcycling is like communal and independent. It's a really interesting one. It's great for the introverts amongst us. Do like to just spend time by themselves, but wouldn't mind some company sometimes. So this is the beautiful Hill End. I love this place. This street in particular is just so pretty. I met a guy that works for the RFS yesterday, and he was like, "Mate, I'm a first responder. Be careful on your bike. I see so many injuries. They're horrific." So, oh, thanks, bro. Good vibes, good vibes. Keep positive.
Reflections as I go back to Sydney. Awesome trip. Caught a fish. Found some gold. Figured out my life plan. Envisioned my future. Rest and recuperation. No internet or phone. I couldn't have asked for a better motorcycle adventure holiday.